What's going on, YouTube? A little T3 pulling an Airstream. Kind of an interesting combo, but man, this little car with this trailer hitch is very agile compared to all the trucks that they put out. It just maneuvers so well compared to all the other stuff that they have. Oh, we lost the trailer. All right, so this video, I know I just showed this, but with Hot Wheels, Matchbox, Greenlight, M2, all these brands, the only brand really that does none of it is Auto World. Seems like every time they do, it's some kind of exclusive. But I wanted to take this video to focus on my favorite category of 1/64 scale diecast. I guess it's a pretty general category. There are many categories, and I have many favorite categories. But I love civilian deco. And I love race decos. I love custom decos and all that kind of stuff as well. But for me, the main thing I enjoy collecting is plain old civilian cars that are stock paint jobs, stock colors, stock liveries. So that's what we're going to look at. I'm going to start with some of the older cars. Most of these are late model. This is an old Ford Galaxy. Unfortunately, the base on this is offset. Always causes for a pretty ugly look. And it sucks because the car itself is just a great looking car. I love the color. Love the wheels, those hubcaps. Very cool. This was a Country Roads 1967 Ford Galaxy 500. I have two 1977 Dodge Monacos. This is a Dodge Monaco Royale, which is a completely different car from the Dodge Monaco. This car mostly came out in police hot pursuit mostly, but there are a handful of nice civilian decos, one of which, my favorite of which, is from not Hot Pursuit, but Hitch and Tow. I think it was Series 2. It's like an avocado green color. But I love this. Another one, I really like the hubcaps on this one. Here's the 77 Monaco. Really hard to see here. So this one is borderline civilian because it's really an undercover cop car. But there's no police livery on it, so for me, it qualifies as civilian. And then a car that is, well, many of these are new toolings. This is definitely one of them. The 76 Ford Gran Torino. This is the only time it's been released with the civilian deco. If you want to count the Starsky and Hutch as civilian, I suppose you could. But both times it was released with the gumball. So for me, this is the only civilian livery so far. I know that this one will be, we'll see more of this, but hopefully we see one in a nice silver or gray or yellow. I don't know what stock colors this was available in, but any lighter color I think would look really good. I think this one looks really good. It just doesn't show up very good on camera. Sure does look good though. They did a nice job on this car. So there's that one. And then I think, well, I have this 1970 Datsun 510. Which, by the way, looks fantastic next to this 1966 Type 3 Squareback. These are two of Greenlight's newest toolings. Both of them very well done. However, there's something about their new toolings that they just aren't the same as the older toolings. They don't have that feel of quality like the older ones do. I mean, they still feel pretty solid. They feel much more solid to me than an M2, but they don't feel more solid than an Auto World. Like, their older cars to me feel way more solid than an Auto World, but their new stuff, yeah, it's just doesn't have that feel to it. But they're still really nice. They design them a certain way to allow for them to get different configurations as well as different model years out of the tooling. Man, that 510 looks killer. This thing is killer as well. Like, one of the things they do, if you look at the grill, almost all of the castings that they're bringing out have these grill inserts, which allow for different model years. That's really not anything new for Greenlight, though. They've been doing that for a while. Even this 77 Monaco. Actually, I take that back. This one I don't think does. Actually, I can't even tell. I know some of them do. I know, like, the C10 has a grill insert. And that's a common thing that other brands do, just to allow for different model years. But I do love silver cars in 1/64 scale. Tell me that 510 doesn't look... That looks so good. It's got to be the second nicest 1/64 scale 510. In a lot of ways, I think cosmetically, this one is a lot better than even the Tomica Limited Vintage. I know that one is more accurate. I know it's more refined. But this one, cosmetically, to me, just... I don't know what it is. It just looks better to me. So, I don't know. That goes against everything that I believe in, pretty much, with diecast, but... Alright, so the rest of these, for the most part... Well, I got one more. This is a late 70s. I'd say 1978. Between 78 and 82, maybe? It's a Plymouth Trail Duster. Really nice. I mean, this right here is a fantastic civilian deco. And this exact casting, for me, is the reason that I feel like Greenlight should do the square body K5 and the second gen Ford Bronco, because they did such an exceptional job on this casting. Now, this is an old Greenlight tooling. It is a pretty early tooling, but it's such a good tooling. We don't see this one very much. But we've seen it 4 times in the last 2 years, 2 to 3 years. But the first 2 that came out in all-terrain came out like this, which is okay, but it's not nearly as nice as when the top is with it. And then they brought out a Baja Ram Charger with the lift kit and the off-road tires, but that has a racing deco. And then after that, it came out in the Hollywood Hitch and Tow for the Terminator with a police livery. So they all look really good, but none of them look this good with a really nice looking civilian deco. Alright, so now the rest of these will be more late model, if you count 1987 as late. But this is an 87 Mustang. Every single release of this casting has been a civilian deco, except for 2. They did this in the Hot Pursuit twice. Once as the San Francisco Police Department, and once as the NYPD. But other than that, they're all civilian decos. Now the notchback, which is the same tooling number, but it's a different mold, it has never been released as a civilian car. However, there is a distributor exclusive that's coming out here pretty soon that's going to be a notchback civilian. So I'm looking forward to that one. These Mustangs, though, are pretty awesome. Arguably Greenlight's best casting. In my Greenlight top 10 toolings, this ranked as number 1. I think as far as like the hobby goes, critically this is their best tooling, and I think a lot of people would make the case that this is the best domestic brand tooling out there. I could certainly see the argument. There's never been a Fox body in 1:64 scale that is better from an accuracy standpoint and a replication standpoint and a build quality standpoint. Greenlight pretty much owns it. Lens, headlights, and taillights. It's very well proportioned. It's got a really nice stance to it. And it's just a very nice little car. Prototypical wheels. So, pretty awesome little civilian deco. This is from last night's video. It's a great looking F-150 XLT. I think it's an XLT. The FX4, I don't remember if that's a separate trim to the XLT or not. Yeah, it is. XLT FX4. The FX4 is the XLT is the trim. The FX4 is the suspension. So that's just a great looking casting, though. One of their best half tons they've done. I'm surprised, this came out in all-terrain. It was either Series 1 or Series 2. And we haven't seen this casting since with a civilian deco and a lift kit. We've seen it with a lift kit, but it's always had some kind of, one of them was the Gulf Hitch and Tow. There might have been some exclusives. So, all right. In no particular order, I'm just going to kind of go through these. This is a 2012 Chevy Corvette. The Greenlight Corvette tooling is very nice. And while I don't think it's as nice as the Auto World, I don't think it's too far behind it. Um, I think this is a very underrated tooling. It has a fantastic stance. The stance really couldn't be better. It's very well proportioned. It has some very nice looking transparent lensed headlights. The lines on the car just look really good. The wheels and tires look really good. Unfortunately, the taillights are painted. But that is the case on the Auto World, though, as well. So they both have lensed headlights, but both have painted or tampoed taillights. That is an awesome looking car, though. They don't bring this one out with the civilian deco very often either. You know, usually it's a pace car or some kind of race car, but great looking car. Love that one. Here's an interesting civilian model. 2016 Chevy Volt. Interesting little car. I think it's kind of a cool little car. A little hybrid. Lensed headlights and taillights. Prototypical wheels. It's kind of the Chevrolet version of the Toyota Prius. So most of these late model cars are, in fact, all of these late model cars are Ford, Chevy, and Dodge. But the late model Fords have mostly all lensed headlights and taillights. Some of the Dodge do, some of the Chevy do, but so there's that one. This is a 2011 Chevy Camaro SS. This is one of my favorite releases of this car. They brought this car out a bunch of times, but I like it with a regular civilian deco. No funny stuff. These wheels look amazing. See if I can get it in some better. Well, let me see if I can move the light. Let's see about that. Alright, let's try now. Love that car. See, in 1-to-1 scale, I like the new Challenger better than the Camaro. But in 1-to-64 scale, at least from Greenlight, I like the Camaro better. And I like this tooling a lot better than the 2017 tooling. I think the big reason for that is because this has more of the feel of the older Greenlight toolings. Plus, the wheels on this were so well done. And just very highly detailed, as you can see. Those are painted taillights, although they could almost pass for lens. All of that detail that you're seeing there with the exhaust tips, the taillights, the bow tie, even the OnStar antenna on top, all of that is painted detail. No separate pieces that you have to worry about falling off. And then on the front, pretty much all painted detail except for those the headlights are transparent inserts, but they also have the tampo on it. It's a great looking casting. I don't recall which release this came from, but I think it was a Greenlight muscle. Here's here's the new Camaro tooling. This is a 2016 convertible. So I do prefer the other one to this, although this one really does look good, and this lighting and camera does this no justice because it really is a nice little civilian model. But if you look, I mean, we can start with the headlights. You can see how much cleaner the other tooling was. Just not just the headlights, but the whole front end in general. The hood on this has a weird shape to it. I'm not sure how accurate that is to the car, but that hood does open. It looks like a big thumbnail. But the deco on this car looks really good. The wheels look really good, although I don't think they look as good as the old ones. The interior, I think, is what really stands out about this car. Greenlight did a fantastic job on that. And this was, I think, an anniversary release. Greenlight anniversary. See, I think the back end on this looks much better than the front. So with this one, you do get, as you can see, lens taillights with the lensed headlights. So, while I like the other one better, this is certainly a very nice little casting. All right, what else do we got? Here's one. 2017 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. Another awesome civilian deco. See, the Jeep castings, I think, are some of Greenlight's best work. They're all very nice, very nicely tooled. But I think they also utilize them pretty well because these toolings are pretty versatile. They can be used in any Greenlight series: Country Roads, Hot Pursuit, Black Bandit, Hobby Shop. Probably wouldn't work too well in Muscle, but Blue Collar, Running on Empty. I mean, you could use these toolings in almost any of their little series that they have. One problem that I've seen quite a bit of with this tooling in particular, I haven't seen it with the older Jeep toolings, but with this one, I see these headlight lenses popping out. It's been a very regular thing for me. So I don't buy these unless I can see in the package that the headlights are still there. And I can kind of see that possibly becoming an issue with that square back. So hopefully not. But these Jeep castings are very, very nice. They all have prototypical wheels. Most of them have off-road tires. This is a removable hardtop. So usually they're always going to come either with no top or with a removable hardtop or a removable soft top. In this case, it's the removable hardtop. Got a full-size rubber spare on the back with a matching prototypical wheel. You're not getting a space saver spare on that. And I love the Colorado license plate. Now, as you can see, the taillights on this they're not lensed and they are not painted. Those are tampoed. But they still look really good, and the fact that it has lensed headlights, I think, for me, makes it okay, because the taillights certainly look nice enough. Okay, what else? What else? This one I showed not too long ago. This is a 2012 Ford Focus ST, a very underutilized tooling that they have. They've only tooled this or released it a handful of times. Most recently in the Black Bandit. But this is a great little tooling. Lensed headlights and taillights, prototypical wheels, and I mean, it's just very, very nicely done. It's well proportioned, it's got a nice stance to it. The detail is great. I love this little car. So while I'm on this, I might as well show this, which is another late model Ford. This is a 2013 Ford Explorer. The really nice civilian deco. That is a factory color from Ford. I don't know what they call it, but... And this was from Hitch and Tow, I want to say Series 3, maybe Series 4. But like the Focus, you have lens headlights and taillights, and I love what they did with these indicators. How they are on the... In this case, it looks like another plastic lens, but it could just be a tampo. To me, it doesn't matter. The key is putting it on the back side of the lens. Sometimes they'll put the tampo on the outside, and it really doesn't look good. But when they put it on the back side of the lens, like they have here, to me, it gives it a great look. The grille on this thing looks really good. The wheels are also, they're prototypical, very nice looking, privacy glass. You got the spoiler. There's your lens tail light. See, here's the reverse lights tampoed on the outside. I would rather see stuff like that done on the back side. Although, in this case, the white wouldn't show through the red, so I kind of get why they did that. And this does have a hitch because of its release with the hitch and tow. This was released with a boat and trailer. But look how great these two late model Fords look. I mean, that's just quality right there from Greenlight. Another late model Ford, although technically this release is a Mercury. It's a pretty old Greenlight release. This is a Mercury Marauder, which they no longer have the licensing to do. At least I don't think they do. If they do, I'll put it to you like this. They haven't released this tooling as a Mercury Marauder in probably 5 years. It's always been Crown Vic since I started collecting. So I'm assuming the Mercury license is no longer. But that doesn't mean they can't release it as a Crown Vic with a really nice civilian deco. It just won't have the Mercury logo with the Virginia plate. I'm sure this was some kind of government official car, FBI or something like that. But I just like it because the civilian look and the chrome wheels. Very cool car. Love it. Here's a late model car, 2017 Dodge Charger SRT 392. This is the same tooling that Greenlight uses for the Hellcat. I like the older Dodge Charger tooling better. But with that said, this is still a nice tooling. We do have lens headlights and taillights on this one. And it is pretty well proportioned. It's a nice car. I mean, I like it. It feels kind of cheap compared to the 2012 model, which here's the 2012 model, which to me has a much better look. It's better proportioned. It definitely has a better build quality, or at least it feels like it does. Got that lens taillight that runs all the way across the back of the car. Both this one and this one have that big lens taillight. But I just think this is a better looking car in general. Not the best color for this, but hopefully you'll still get the point across. So while the taillights are lensed, the headlights are most definitely well, what do you guys think? Is that a lensed headlight or is that a tampoed headlight? That's definitely a lensed headlight. Let's look at the Marauder here. Is that a lensed headlight or is that a tampoed headlight? It's pretty easy to tell. Tampo lens. Oh, here's another really cool late model Mopar. Well, before I do that one, since I just showed the new Charger, here's a Hellcat with a different civilian deco than the green one. The green one is not a Hellcat, although it's the same body style. This one is a Hellcat. This was the released in the anniversary series. Honestly, I don't know which one I like better. I know that I like the look of these wheels a lot better, so I think these wheels on the green one would look better, in my opinion. And I think this would look better without the rally stripes. See, the hood is really what, the Hellcat is the drivetrain, it's the engine and the transmission. Since these are 1:64 scale cars, they obviously don't have an engine and a transmission. So what designates the Hellcat with these cars is the hood. You can see here the Hellcat hood. And then this is the SRT hood. But the tooling itself is the same tooling. Which one do you guys like better? Wheel swap them, and I'll take the green one. Alright, so this is another late model Mopar. It's a 2013 Chrysler 300C. It's a very unique release. This was never released as a commercial release. It was some kind of promotional release. But it's just a great looking car. This is my favorite Chrysler 300 that they've done. so far. I like the Black Bandit quite a bit, but I like this one better. Lens headlights, prototypical wheels, and painted taillights. I'm running out of time, so I gotta try to hurry up here. I don't think I have too many more. Just actually just one. Just one more? Two more. Alright, so we have this R34. I don't know why. Excuse me. I don't know why I got the Black Bandit out. But I do like the fact that this particular Black Bandit has the satin black paint. Whoa, that's dark. And it has the what is supposed to be a carbon fiber hood, which they did a really good job scaling that, because to scale carbon fiber in 1:64 is very hard to do. Revell's tried doing it. Some other brands have tried doing it. It's hard to do, but I think Greenlight has definitely done the best job so far that I've seen. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased, because I like Revell a lot. But anyways, a really cool looking car if you can get it in the right light. The R34 Black Bandit, that satin black is just so awesome. Now this casting does come with lensed headlights. Not bad for an R34. Unfortunately, the taillights, not so much. Just some painted detail there. That really is a nice looking car though. The Black Bandit is probably my favorite R34 that they've done. I wish they would do the GTR with a satin black. Wish they would do a Fox body with a satin black. The last one that I'm going to show is this Dodge Ram. It's a 2015. It is also from a Hollywood Hitch and Tow release from the Blues Brothers. I had to get this one just because I love the dirt road effect on it. It's a really nice casting to start with, but it looks especially nice with that dirt effect on it, like it's been driving down a dirt road for miles and miles. So that's a lot of civilian model cars. That's my favorite. I still like to pick up the race cars, and I like to pick up, the custom stuff and all of that kind of stuff. But for me, I want most of my stuff to be as stock as possible, as it came from the factory. And, that's what I want to be kind of the foundation of my collection. And then everything else is like, just extra stuff. And I want, when I do get the race cars and stuff, I want them to be based off of actual race cars. I don't want like fantasy model race cars. I like the Goodyear Grabber. I like the Trail Duster that they brought out. The Baja Trail Duster. And, like the Smoky Eunuch Chevelle. All of that type of stuff. Anything that's based off of an actual livery an actual race car, those are the type of race cars that I buy. And I may do a video on Greenlight race cars, actually, because Lord knows I have enough of those to do a video. And they've made some really nice ones. All of them based on actual cars. So it's another nice thing about Greenlight. Their police cars aren't Greenlight Police Department. And their race cars aren't Greenlight Race Team. They actually go out and replicate the castings based off of actual cars. So, you know, whatever you think of Greenlight, you got to kind of hand it to them when it comes to that, because nobody else in diecast does that, except for Auto World, but they do it on a very, very, very small scale. Like, they've done 1 or 2 police cars and maybe 6 or 7 race cars. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please leave your thoughts below. And we'll look forward to all of the new castings that are still on the way from Greenlight. Because with all of these new tools that they've released in the last 12 months or so, there are still more to come. So hopefully they release them all with nice civilian liveries. All right, everyone. Have a good Thursday. Don't work too hard, and I'll holler at you all at the next diecast video. Didn't even use the car dealership today. I'm in drone mode.